B Marsh Boxing back at it one more again, one more time. B Marsh Boxing back at it with another boxing video. So you see the title, right? So I guess Vasyl Lomachenko's ducking too, right? How comes nobody making videos about Vasyl Lomachenko ducking? Vasyl Lomachenko said he's gonna be back August 25th. That's what he says. You know what I mean? But what he did say right after his surgery, or around the time when we did get the news about his surgery, is that when he comes back, he's not fighting Mikey Garcia right away. Matter of fact, he's not even fighting Ray Beltran in a unification. You know what I mean? He says he needs a tune-up fight. So with that logic, I guess he's ducking Mikey Garcia and fellas like Ray Beltran, right? Man coming off of surgery, off his shoulder surgery, right after the fight with Linares. He said while he's in surgery that he's not fighting Mikey Garcia next. So with that logic, I guess the man Vasyl Lomachenko's ducking, right? What's up, Mr. Doc? What's happening, man? I see you in the chat. What's good with you? Yeah, man. I'm just trying to understand these nut-ass YouTube channels' logic out here, man. Because at the end of the day, this video is going to revolve back to the man, the unified champ at 154, Jarrett Hurd. You know, a lot of these channels out here on YouTube who have an agenda, these people ain't out here for the love of boxing, nah. They out here for views, causing static and drama, and just saying shit that they would never say. Saying shit on YouTube, saying shit that they would never say to these boxers' face. You know what I'm saying? So apparently Jarrett Hurd is ducking Jamel Charlo because Jarrett Hurd was also in surgery after his fight with Erislandy Lara. The man Jarrett Hurd went into that fight with Erislandy Lara with the shoulder injury that he's been prolonging, surgery. And after the fight, he said, okay, it's time. He's now a unified champ. What better time now than to get this shoulder repaired? Jarrett Hurd himself said when he comes back, he wants to face a right-handed fighter. He's faced back-to-back southpaws, all right? He wants to face a right-handed fighter so he can get back in the groove of fighting right-handed fighters. Then he'll face Jamel Charlo, okay? So a lot of these channels out here, they claiming that the man Jarrett Hurd is ducking. You know what I mean? They saying he's ducking because he needs a tune-up fight. And this tune-up fight, according to the man Jarrett Hurd, these are his words. I'm not making no shit up like these channels out here, you know. And a lot of these nut-ass commenters and YouTube listeners on this boxing shit, all they do is regurgitate what a channel says without even doing their own homework or research, you know what I mean? All they do is just jump out the window and say shit like whatever they heard their favorite YouTube channel say, and they just run with it. While the man Jarrett Hurd has two mandatories, like he said himself, he's a unified champ, WBA and IBF. I don't remember who his mandatory is for the WBA, but for the IBF it's J. Rock Williams. Now that's a good tune-up fight. Excuse me. If he does so happen to fight the man Julian J. Rock Williams from Philly, that's a good tune-up fight. You know what I mean? You know, a lot of channels out here, they throwing dirt on the man Jarrett Hurd's name. They saying it's ducking, but none of them are using that same logic to say that the man Vasyl Lomachenko's ducking. You know what I mean? All right, I see Mr. Doc. He's up in this piece. What's good? He says, ducking with one arm? Exactly. Mr. Doc says, LOL, we disagreed about a lot regarding Lara Hurd. But he's hurt, so he's hurt. Where it goes, I gotta fall back till he's healthy. Yes, indeed. Chris Caban, what's happening, man? He's in the chat. He says, good vid. Good looks, Chris. Mr. Doc says, WBA been saying Lara rematch, but my point is, he's just hurt like Lomo. Yeah, man. But these channels out here, they try to call the man Jarrett Hurd the new. They calling him the new, what do you call it? Keith Thurman. They call him the new Keith Thurman 2.0. You know what I'm saying? That's what they calling him. You know what I mean? They saying the man is ducking with his two belts, got a better resume than anybody at 154 who's not named Landy Lara. He beat Lara. You know what I'm saying? Jared Jamel Charlo's fighting Jared Hurd's leftovers and Landy Lara's leftovers. Landy Lara calls out the man Jamel Charlo. Like, what's up, man? He been trying to fight him since 2017, since he was a champion. You know what I'm saying? You check it, and the man Jamel Charlo, him being the most, you know, one of the most braggadocious boxers out there, man who talks a lot of shit, saying lions only, keep running your mouth. You know, he got all this, got a lot of stuff to say. But when it comes to Landy Lara, he's quiet than a church mouse. You know what I mean? But yet, Jared Hurd is ducking this guy. Like, what kind of logic are these fans making, man? You know, these guys gonna be really hurting their feelings if Jamal Charlo does lose to to the man, what you call it, Jared Hurd. You know what I mean? There's by no means, no way is the man Jared Hurd, Keith Thurman 2.0. Like, where do these guys get this information from? They must not be listening to Jared Hurd from his mouth. He says he wants to fight. He says all he needs is a fight in between. He has mandatories to handle. And then he wants the man Jamel Charlo. Matter of fact, you know, the man Jared Hurd is more vocal about wanting this fight with Jamel Charlo than Jamel Charlo is. You guys show me those videos where Jamel Charlo is saying, yeah, we want this man Jared Hurd right now. You guys show me them videos and show me multiple videos. Because I might have heard it once, but I haven't heard it as much as Jared Hurd saying it's going to happen. I'm going to fight this guy. I got mandatories. I'm the unified champ. You know what I'm saying? See what they're saying in the chat. Mr. Doc says, I see them working, but that's some trolling. Has it even been 6 months? I think Jared Hurd, no, he fought in April. So it's definitely not been less than 6 months. Chris Caban says, Doc, Hurd injured his arm by beating Lara's ass. Yeah, man. Mr. Doc says, punching up the elderly. Yeah, well, you know, the elderly was the man in the division, you know what I mean? Mr. Doc says, how long since Lomo fought Linares? I believe that was probably March. March, maybe? Yeah. Or maybe May. Wasn't too long ago. No, it hasn't. It's been less than 6 months, Mr. Doc, for sure. Mr. Doc says, hasn't it been like 18 months since Thurman fought? Exactly. Thurman fought, I think, March of 2017. You know what I mean? That's the last time he fought. So how is the man Jared Hurd? How is the man a Keith Thurman 2.0? You see, that's why I don't listen to too many boxing channels out here, man. A lot of people's credibility shot. They don't know shit about boxing. They on this YouTube boxing platform for the wrong reasons, you know what I mean? Because spreading that propaganda and these stupid casual fans who in the comment sections, you know what I mean, and especially them who listens to, you know, that other organization, you know, it's like when one person says one thing because I guess these guys are from Texas and they backing their champion, then everybody's running with it, you know what I mean? Next they gonna say that the man Maurice Hooker can beat a guy like Regis Prograis. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. Fellas are out of bounds, out of control. And I gotta show them that their logic makes absolutely no sense. Because none of them whatsoever are using that same logic to say that the man Vasyl Lomachenko is ducking Mikey Garcia and Raimundo Beltran. Because he's not fighting neither of them come on the 25th. You know what I'm saying? He's not. And he himself said that he needs a tune-up, you know what I mean? So I just had to let it be known, man. Some people out here, man, they need to get their boxing card revoked one time, man, because they can't come talk that rubbish or garbage with me on any platform, on any hangout, man. I'm going to flame them up early. Mr. Doc says, "How can anyone compare Loma or Hurd to Thurman?" Exactly. Like you said, it's been like 18 months. Loma and Hurd have fought in the last 3 to 4 months. You know what I mean? And these guys are doing big things. Unlike Jamel Charlo, you know what I'm saying? And tell Jamel Charlo to give that man Erislandy Laro a shot, unless he don't want no problems with him. And I think that's the case. He doesn't want it with him. You know what I mean? Erislandy Lara is about that life, man. He said this is a business. It's business, never personal. Put all that friendship shit aside, like Maurice Blocker and Simon Brown did back in the G for a unification fight at welterweight, WBC, IBF, unification. These guys were best of friends, but the unification meant that, hey, it's time to enhance my legacy. And Jamel Charlo looks like he don't want no parts of that. Real talk. Campos Vasquez, what's happening, son? He says, "Does Loma have a career-threatening injury? I don't think so. He says he's going to be back next month. We shall see. We shall see. I think on that date, maybe he might. Maybe he might because on the 25th of August, I believe that's when Ray Beltran, the WBO lightweight champion, fights Jose Pedraza." Mr. Doc says, "Did Thurman have a career-threatening forearm injury?" Not that I know of. I think Thurman is just, enjoying his life, being called a champion, but not trying to fight nobody. You know what I mean? Anthony Purvis, what's good, son? How you feeling, man? He says, "Hurd want that work, period. These cats said Jacobs ducking Charlo to fight Devenchenko for a belt." Oh, shit. Oh, man, I didn't even hear that one, man. Wow, that's a whole different video, man. That's a whole different video I could make on that shit. How the fuck is Jacobs duck? Come on, you see, Jacobs got more heart than the Charlo kid because Jacobs is fighting Devenchenko, a guy who's in the same stable as him. They both have the same trainers. Andre Rozier, you know what I mean? These guys both train out of Brooklyn, and these guys are putting all that personal stuff aside, whether they have a relationship or not. I do know they spar together, you know what I mean? And they trying to enhance their legacy. How is this man ducking Charlo? What does Charlo bring to the table? Nothing at the moment. Danny Jacobs could be what he's never been his whole career. His whole career, he's never been a champion. Never. He had an opportunity versus Pirog. Pirog put him to sleep in the 5th round. He woke up before the 10 count, but it was too late. Robert Byrd said it's a wrap. You were asleep. You had your eyes closed. You were motionless. You can't be trying to rise up like on some thriller shit. Like all of a sudden after the 7th count. Nah, man. He lost to Pirog. That WBA regular interim, whatever the fuck you call it, man, I don't count them type of things. That's no, I don't. So he's never been a world champion. He got an opportunity right now because I did think he'd beat Triple G. He didn't get the decision. And hey, it is what it is. Now he got a shot to be what he's been dreaming of his whole career, and just to be a world champion fighting Devenchenko. You think he got time to worry about other people's mandatories, man? So what? He fights the man. What's it called? What's his name? Jamel Charlo. Then what? What that mean? He's gonna be the mandatory for the winner of Triple G and Cannoli. So he gotta wait again to be a world title holder when he could beat Devenchenko, and he could also have leverage when it comes to negotiations for unification, whether it's against Billy Joe Saunders and or the winner of Triple G Cannoli. Man, these stupid ass nut ass YouTube channels out here. I'm trying to tell you, man. These guys have no integrity, dogs. If they say some stupid shit like that, man, they need to get their channel revoked, man. Straight up, man. That's ridiculous. Mr. Doc says, "Yeah, Bobby Charlo hasn't ever wanted no parts of Lara." Yeah. Mr. Doc can't believe that shit that Anthony Purvis said, man. I can't believe it neither. So yeah, Mr. Doc says he's fighting for a belt equals Duck and Charlo. Come on, man. Come on, man. I think these guys forgot how the man Danny Jacobs on some speak of the devil type shit rolled up on Jamel Charlo like what's good. Man coming to Brooklyn talking about he the king of Brooklyn. Then the next night he gets robbed by some Roseanne fat looking chicks at the motherfucking club in New York City. Gets robbed for 40 grand and his jewels. His shine's probably worth 20 grand. Who does that? Who does that? Who walks around with a Louis Vuitton purse with money and fucking shines, man? I'm having my money in my pocket. I like my pockets fat, not flat. And I'm gonna have my shines on my neck. Not in no man purse. Y'all must have forgot how the man Jacobs, how Charlo Jacobs rolled up on Charlo. And the man was stuttering. The man was stuttering like Porky Pig out this motherfucker, man. People out of control, man. They gonna catch their judgment, sure enough, man. Let these fights take place. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Xavier said that story was fake. Yeah, okay. That story was fake. You think I'm gonna believe you? That shit was all over the news, man. You probably must be a Charlo supporter. Might be a Charlo what you call it, ghost account. Talking about that shit was fake. Man, that shit was never fake. It was fake, but the ladies got arrested because they had to turn back in the money and the shines. And I think they ain't even turned in the money. So that was fake? Come on, man. Get real. Come on, dogs. That shit was real, man. Man tried to defend a man who walks around with a Louis Vuitton man purse with 40 grand, probably a quarter of what he made. A quarter percent of what he makes for a purse. Because the man, like Danny Jacobs said, you ain't touching no M's, you ain't touching no millions. Better keep that 40 grand in the bank or have it on your debit. Have it on your card, plastic. Who's walking around with 40 grand? Man don't even make half a mil. You know what I'm saying? He might make half a mil. I'm not too sure. He ain't making Eris Landy Lara type money. And I bet you Eris Landy Lara, the man's a family man. He ain't walking around with 40 grand and 20 grand worth of shines in the club. Anyways, man, I'm about to seal up this video, man. Xavier, you gotta look up, man. Do your research, dogs. The women turned themselves in. They were all over plastered on the news and on the front page of the New York Times. You know what I'm saying? Go do your research, man. I'm not gonna do it for you, dogs. You're saying the same thing Jamel Charlo said. Fake news. But no. That even made him look worse. Fake news, but it's really true. Mr. Doc says, LOL. Do that 40K cash in the Hulk Hogan man purse. Exactly. But yes, indeed, man. I'm about to seal up the deal on this. Campos Vasquez says, any news on Burchelt versus Davis? Burchelt. No, I haven't heard nothing about that, man. I haven't heard nothing about that, to be honest. Last I heard about the super featherweight division is Tevin Farmer will be going to Australia to fight Billy Dibb for the vacant IBF title that Tevin Farmer fought that Japanese dude, but Japanese dude turned out he was on steroids. I think they called that fight a draw or something. I thought they should have just gave it to Tevin Campbell. I said Tevin Campbell, Tevin Farmer, and then he fights Billy Dibb. But guess they making it vacant, and he's going to Australia, which I'm not mad at him, to be honest. You know what I mean? Because really and truly, none of these guys, Billy Dibb or Tevin Farmer, are drawn the United States. And Billy Dibb, I'm sure, still has a name over there in Australia. You know what I mean? Former featherweight champ. You check it, if Billy Dibb was an up-and-coming star probably 8 years ago, 2010, 2011, you know what I mean? He got on 50 team SMS promotions, but that's actually where his career started to go down the drain. And especially after that left hook from Takashi Miura. Takashi Miura fucked him up real bad, took that WBC title from him. Or I guess defended it against him. You know what I mean? So I think it was Afghani Gradovich, the Mexican Russian. Where's this guy these days, the Mexican Russian? I don't hear of him no more. But he's the one who beat Billy Dibb for the IBF featherweight title. Xavier says Lara would eat Charlo up. I agree. I agree. Campos Vasquez says Div versus Farmer is a good matchup. Farmer beat Ogawa. Yeah, I had Farmer beating Ogawa too, 7-5. You know what I mean? But I didn't see Ogawa winning that fight by no means. I'm glad Ogawa had that bullshit decision overturned, says Xavier. True indeed. Campos Vasquez says Gradovich retired. Really? I didn't even hear about that. The Mexican Russian, yeah, Mexican Russian was pretty basic, but he was an action-packed fighter. You know what I mean? And I like what he did against Billy Dib. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, B Marsh Boxing about to seal the deal on this live stream. Give thanks for everybody coming through. Xavier, Mr. Doc, Chris Caban, Campos Vasquez. If I missed anybody, Anthony Purvis, big ups, big ups. Thanks for everybody coming through. And once again, I gotta ask before I seal this video up, where are all the videos about Vasyl Lomachenko ducking either Raymundo Beltran in the unification or Mikey Garcia? Because he said it, I'm not fighting neither of those guys coming off this shoulder injury. But with that logic, these guys say that the man Jared Hurd is ducking Jamel Charlo because he wants to fight a southpaw. I'm sorry, an orthodox fighter on his fight back. You know what I mean? Don't make no sense, man. But hey, man, some boxing fans can't even really reason with them. All right, B Marsh Boxing, I'm out of here. Thanks for everybody coming through, and I'm gone. Peace. One more quote from the man Campos Vasquez. He says, "Good night, B. Good looks, man. Please see if there's any info on Tank versus Burchard. I have money on Tank. Ooh, that's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good test for both of them. But I'm going to look that info up, matter of fact, right now before I go to sleep, all right? I'm out of here, fellas. Give thanks for everybody coming through and leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section if you listen to this on the archives. I'm out. One.